Hey everybody, welcome to Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit Showgirls, the 1995 epic. So grab 2 tickets to the Cheetah, and we'll see you there.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
And we revisited Showgirls. So I think we were both sort of saw this on our lists and we're like, this could be fun. This could be fun. Brian.
Well, we begin, as we always do, talking about...
Do you want to do this by yourself?
Then,
do you want
how
to do this?
dare you?
Would you like to do this podcast by yourself?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. So, Brian.
Yes.
We begin this podcast like as we always do.
Yes.
Where were you when you first saw Showgirls?
Oh my God, my right hand to God, I do not remember, but I know I saw it. Like, I don't think I saw it in the movie theater. I don't know. 1995, September 1995. I don't think I did see this in the movie theater, but I think I saw it maybe right away when it came out on VHS. And wow.
Right?
Did I just hate this movie? It was so bad. And yet I watched the whole thing. But it was so bad, so ridiculous. It was like, and I was, because back, I mean, I still am, but even more so in my 20s, I just loved it. I would see anything. I loved movies. And I just feel like, I was like, what? In my mind, it was just like, why did they decide to do this? Why did these actors decide? And I knew that the big thing was Elizabeth Berkley, that Saved by the Bell. And she wanted to shed her image, and it's like she did.
She sure did.
She shed a lot of things.
She shed her whole career.
Yeah. Oh, we're talking about then, but I just remember being like, I don't. Wow. Yeah, and then years later in New York, this movie started being shown at this movie theater in I want to say in Chelsea or 23rd Street somewhere. And they would show it as a joke. It was hosted by a drag queen, and people were laughing, but like really laughing. And I don't know if maybe it's the only way you can watch it. But
I can't imagine another way to watch this movie.
Yeah,
truly.
It was just, even back then though, it was so like literally like in your face. The performances, the dialogue, the nudity, and it's like what. Like, this is it even a movie? What am I watching?
Someone expected this to be a serious movie.
And I'm telling you, when I saw it again in New York in probably 2002, 2003, at the drag queen event thing, I really didn't even want to. And then my friend Rudy actually was like, "Oh, come on, it'll be really fun." I'm like, "All right, fine." But I remembered how long this movie was. Oh my God. All right, so that was then. Christina, now tell me about your then.
So my then, I definitely did not see this in the movie theater. I had no desire of it. I remember people talking a lot about it, about how bad it was, even back then. And about the extreme nudity. In some places, it was an NC-17.
Yeah, it was NC-17. It was the I think, I don't know the history, but I think like, it was one of the few, if not the only, or first mainstream NC-17 film that was released in more than 1,000 theaters or something. So it was the
only other one deal. I remember, and I just remember it because it was NC-17, was the first one I ever knew, was The Last Tango in Paris.
Oh.
I never saw the movie because it was an NC-17.
No. But NC-17 came out NC-17 came out decades after that.
Okay.
Maybe I think it was probably X. Because, like, Midnight Cowboy, that was X.
Right, X. Yes.
But what's funny about the NC-17, then, we'll get back to it in just a second. The reason why you bring that up, meaning, the ratings board said to Esther House, Paul Verhoeven, the director, like, this is going to get an NC-17, and like, or, maybe you cut some stuff out of it. And, like, clearly someone said, like, no, we mustn't touch it. It's perfect, right? So, like, wow. Because
Unless their idea was, no, let's have an NC-17 so that people will want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
But it was just ridiculous back then. I remember people talking about it, about how ridiculous it was and how bad it was. I had no desire to see it.
Yeah.
So I didn't see it until probably a few years later when it was... I don't think I ever actually rented it. It must have been on HBO or something. And it was there. And I said, you know what? I want to see how bad this movie really is. And it did not disappoint in the badness of this movie. It was laughable. Yeah. And I didn't realize it until I rewatched this movie. But I didn't finish the movie.
The first time.
Because I didn't remember that awful ending.
The rape scene. Oh
yeah.
my
I didn't
God.
remember, and that was absolutely something I would have remembered.
Yeah.
I definitely shut it off. I remembered the party.
Yeah.
So I think I shut it off in the middle of the party.
Yeah. Probably when she might get punched in the face and probably like, nope. Like her friend.
I don't even think it went to that point. Like, I feel like I remember her being at the party and probably when her name came up in lights.
Okay.
Was probably when I was like, I can't do this anymore. I've invested enough of my life in this movie. I need to be done with this. So I didn't realize it at the time, but I definitely did not see the whole thing last time. But I saw most of it. I think that was probably 10 minutes before the ending, right?
Yeah, I mean, it ends...
Or 15 minutes before the ending.
Yeah.
She visits her.
Well, then she kicks the shit out of the guy.
Did she really, though? I mean, please. All right, we can get to that. So anyway, so that was that, and I just thought it was horrible. I could not believe how bad the acting was, but the first time especially from Elizabeth.
Yes.
Yeah, this is from the first one.
1,000%. But you said it's laughable. But did you laugh the first time you saw it?
I was laughing at the performances.
Yeah.
I was laughing at her because she was so... It was a spoof. Like, it really felt like a spoof. And I had already heard... So it's not like I'm watching it for the first time and thinking it's just a movie I'm watching. I had already known. So it's almost like the experience you had in New York. Mm-hmm. Except it was a one-person viewing.
Right, yeah.
It was... I knew how bad it had been. How bad it had been panned. But I had not realized truly how bad it was.
Oh, my God.
It's not even a matter of an opinion in my opinion. It's not even... I don't think anybody would watch this movie and say anything other than what we're saying.
Yeah.
About the performances.
So let's dive into now.
Yes.
Shall we?
Yes.
So, you know what sucks is that we're recording with my phone, and I took some screenshots of the actresses that were being considered.
Oh, I can look it up on my... What did I do on my phone? Oh, there it is.
Well, I wonder if I can look it up while I'm recording. Why can't I do that?
Do we want to risk that? I don't know if we should risk that.
What could possibly go wrong?
Right? Click.
But I'll tell you, the Gina Gershon role was like they were considering Sharon Stone, Daryl Hannah. Who else?
Gosh.
Yeah, but and I think for Nomi, they were considering Drew Barrymore. Oh God, who else? There's a giant list, and I think they all turned it down.
I think that was smart.
That was very smart. I mean, I don't know how you make sense of this script and be like, I don't know how you read some of this dialogue and say this is going to be a good movie.
So, okay. Angelina Jolie.
Yes.
Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
Vanessa Marcel.
Yeah, from General Hospital.
And Denise Richards.
Yeah. But I think I saw Drew Barrymore in that list too.
And Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah. I mean, Denise Richards, it's so funny because I feel like she was making these kinds of movies, like, you know, Wild Things and
Yeah, she would have... That probably was the first person they called.
It probably would have felt more like a comedy. It probably would have been a better choice in some way. In a way, like, because Denise Richards can be a funny actress.
This is going to be brutal.
Uh-oh.
I really feel like anyone they chose would have been better.
Than Elizabeth
Berkley. She was horrendous.
All right, so we're getting into now?
Let's get into now.
So, Christina, when did you rewatch this?
I rewatched it just a few days ago.
Me too, yeah.
I was trying to find a point in my life where no one else was home.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
Right? So, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to have to... And I actually watched it in 2 parts. In fact, it's really funny because I had watched it. It was probably at least an hour and a half of this movie. And I had to shut it off because I was actually getting like a headache from it. Like I was just like, I need to stop. I need to finish this another time. And I almost didn't finish it. I was very close to not even finishing it because it was so
that goes
brutal.
Against our old roommates.
Well, and I will say it was because of our listeners that I sat there, and this is a testament to my dedication and integrity to our listeners, that I had to sit and watch the rest of it. I'm like, oh, this is bad. So I watched it in 2 parts. I did end up finishing it, and I'm kind of glad I did because I never would have realized I didn't finish it last time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so as is true for old roommates, we do shallow dives. So we're going to be jumping all around. Mm-hmm. So buckle up, because the rape scene.
Yes.
It makes a lot of sense, like, why you almost stopped it. I'm assuming you stopped it during that, like when you said you almost didn't finish it. This time around, I mean.
This time around, I finished it before the party. It was before.
Oh.
It was.
And then you went back to it.
So then I had gone back to it. Yeah. So yeah, it was when she went to
Kyle MacLachlan's house.
Yeah.
That's super. I mean, was it ever cool? Like the illuminated palm tree lights around the pool.
It was just
so cheesy.
It reminded me of Barb and Star a little bit.
Yeah. And Kyle MacLachlan, I don't know what he was. Well, actually, I do know what he was thinking. I did some research, and he really thought he was making a dark, disturbing look into the seedy Vegas Showgirls world, and instead it was a bright, loud, crashing, like inadvertent comedy.
Well, I wonder how if it must have read differently, right?
Oh, that dialogue though.
Dialogue.
But here's the other thing. So then at the premiere, he's watching this, and he said the first scene was so bad. And I'm paraphrasing all this, but it's all online. It's all these are these are things he said, but I'm paraphrasing. So he said, you're in the movie, you're watching it, and you're like, wow, that first scene was really bad. But he's like, that's happened before in movies.
Sure.
And maybe the next scene will be better. And he said, as an actor, you typically watch a movie that you're in, and like you're kind of judging scene by scene. Mm-hmm. So he was like, the first scene was bad, but it'll get better. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And he's like, it was not the movie he thought it was going to be. And I don't know how
he just happens. Probably never read the whole script. Maybe he just read his parts.
I don't know, but also he's in the movie. I mean, like when Elizabeth Berkley is on top of you in a pool acting like a drunk dolphin.
I don't know what the hell she was thinking.
And once again, I have to wonder if Paul Verhoeven has ever had sex. Because we talked about this with Basic...
Definitely not in a pool.
He's like, talking, like, I don't, like, we talked about this with Basic Instinct, episode 69 of our podcast, because I think he thinks this is much hotter and kinkier than it really looks.
It was a mess.
It's just splashy.
It looked like a toddler having a temper tantrum.
I'm telling you, to me it looked like a dolphin. Like, I'm trying to think, like, because it doesn't... It's just the top of her flopping all around.
It's floppy. It's
just floppy. But that's what Sharon Stone did.
Like no bones. Like just almost like a fake, like a rag doll.
But her crotch does not move.
No. So everything else does.
Yeah.
Which is so
meaning if her whole body was contorting, it's like, oh, maybe that's something, a sexual response.
Yes.
But it's just the top of her splashing around like a weirdo.
And he's not moving. So it's almost like she's like doing this with some plastic blow-up doll, right? He's not... Actually, a blow-up doll would move more.
Possibly.
He was, like, stiff. Just well...
Right, yeah. Nice, Christina.
I didn't mean that.
Keep it classy.
He probably was, but...
I mean, it's just so bizarre. I thought some of it was so cheesy, that scene. And, like, when she's walking out...
It's a take. Like, that's what kills me. It's like, really? That's the one you chose?
Cut. Perfect. Yeah. It's just so crazy. Oh my God in heaven. All right, so it starts, and my first note, Christina, I wrote, it just starts. It seriously just goes, Showgirls, right?
And that's it.
And then they cut to the desert, and she's walking out,
Yep.
And she's hitching a ride.
She's standing while hitchhiking, which is such an annoyance for me. Whenever I see a hitchhiker just standing, it's like, you got to help yourself, guys. Come on. I would never pick up a hitchhiker anyway, but if I were going to, it would be the one that's walking and helping themselves. I'm not going to pick somebody up standing still with a hand out.
Yeah, talk about lazy.
Totally.
Yeah. So, but what's interesting, and maybe this is real, and this is my middle-aged lens.
Mm-hmm.
The sign says, the only thing on the sign, it says Vegas, 342 miles. I don't know if that's a joke. Is that a joke? Someone help me. Like, okay, I wrote, why bother? There's nothing closer that's notable in 342 miles. And I wrote, maybe...
Just so you know, she has to go 342
miles. Well, right, like, because maybe that's why she stopped there.
It would have been better as a footnote.
Christina, maybe that's why she...
Right, it's like, oh yeah, I'm not going any further.
Maybe that's why she stopped there. Because she's like, no, it says Las Vegas. I'll just stand here.
Oh my
but
God. I wrote, be going in the right direction.
I wrote, maybe that sign really does exist, but it shouldn't.
Yeah. That's bizarre. I'm sure it does not exist. How can it exist?
Also,
and who cares about 340 miles?
Have it say like
300
342 miles. That is so specific.
And how many feet?
Random. Yeah, right. I mean, so it's random.
So random. Yeah, there's no way that sign really exists.
Oh my God, Christina, I can't even. I mean, this.
I can't.
I don't. I'm afraid.
We could be sitting here for hours and hours.
I know.
And
I'm
hours
so afraid of this happening. We have to.
Just even the first scene, she's completely over the top in every single thing that she does. Everything. The sex scene was only part of it. That sex scene is. It's like every word out of her mouth is over the top.
Yeah.
I can't. Even when he picks her up, like this, she's hitchhiking.
Yeah.
He pulls over. She's suspicious.
Yeah.
But she hops in anyway.
Well, she pulls.
And then he says, "What's your name?" or something. She whips out a knife. Like, oh my God. Honestly, if I was that guy driving, I'd be like, bye.
So that's a note.
I don't need to give you a ride.
That is a note I have throughout this movie.
Right. Why are people bothering with her?
1,000% Christina.
Oh.
That is my note throughout this. I'm like, people, like, I mean, I don't... people are weirdly tolerant of her behavior.
It's
like,
bizarre.
Weirdly tolerant. Like, I wrote my third note is Nomi is a psycho.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm talking about even when she's happy. Like she hits the little slot machine jackpot, right? And she's like tossing the coins and giggling.
I heard that. Who does that? Who wins coins and throws them up in the air like, yay!
Yay! And she's like tossing them
she's like a little child.
Are they not dropping all over the floor, you dummy? Like people are, it's Vegas. People are gonna be like coming by sweeping those up.
Oh, jeez,
Then she punches the machine, and then she gets. Then she's really mad because she goes back and she realizes the guy drove away with her suitcase, and she ends up punching a car.
Punching a car,
and it belongs to Molly. Which I have such a note later on in the movie when we find out more about Nomi.
Okay.
Can we talk about it now or later?
Let's talk about it now.
What is Nomi's real name?
I have no idea.
They tell you.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Oh, Kyle MacLachlan shows up. So she's ready.
Oh, Penelope or something.
No, it's not,
What
Christina.
is it? It's something. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Let me just set the scene.
Yeah.
She wants to press charges against this guy for gang raping her friend.
Yes.
Rightfully so. He says no because all this, that, and the other thing, and then almost to blackmail her, he says, "Okay, Polly, Christina, the names are Polly and Molly." Like, who thought of these names? Did anyone care? This is what I mean by the script.
Cared.
No one cared. This, if you were telling me that Nomi's real name is, first of all, how do you get with Nomi? So it's like you come up, your real name is Polly, and you happen to bump into someone who's your roommate named Molly. Like, who wrote that shit?
It's so bizarre.
I know who wrote it. Joe Esterhaus, who wrote Basic Instinct. But okay, so then, but get this. Someone is punching the hell out of your car, Christina. You run up and say, "Hey!" And you tell her to stop. They don't. Then you kind of push her away.
Yeah.
Then she starts swinging at you. And then she throws up.
Yep.
I don't know why she threw up. That was
up.
unclear. And then you hug her, because that's something people do. But then, like, she actually breathes in her face, and you almost think she's gonna kiss her.
There's so many of those moments. I think they really wanted the audience to think that there was gonna be a lot of that lesbian stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because every conversation they have, they're 2 inches away from each other, and they're smiling and giggling and moving their heads up and down. I'm like, oh my goodness. This
is like, so Quentin Tarantino had nothing to do with this movie, but he later said that he doesn't hate this movie. He views it as like, almost like, there's like, remember like blaxploitation films? He views this as almost like a feminist, like almost misogynist exploitation films.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
All the men are heinous throughout this movie.
They're all heinous.
And so, and then she's truly using her body and sex to get what she wants. And for the most part, it works for her.
She's all upset when people call her a whore.
Christina.
I can't. So let's finish.
Okay, we have to finish the thought. Finish the thought.
The thought about this whole Molly approaching her and seeing her hit the car, throwing up. She met this woman 10 seconds ago. She's completely unhinged.
Yeah.
This woman. So naturally, she invites her to move in with her.
Well, first she buys her dinner.
It's
and then says, "Listen, you can stay with me until you get a job." Like, why?
There's
she has proven nothing. Nomi with a ketchup bottle.
Jesus.
Oh my God. I mean, that was comedy. I'm like, please tell me that was intentionally comedy.
That was supposed to be. I think. It's hard to guess.
And she's like smashing the ketchup, and then she flings her fries at Molly.
Yeah.
And Molly's like, listen, you can stay with me.
Why don't you stay with me?
Are you kidding me?
You look like someone that'd be a great, responsible roommate.
But the food situation just continues for these two roommates with this hilarious scene that I call... You ate the chips.
You ate the chips, the bag. I was going to say bag of chips, but okay.
My God. Christina, I felt like I was watching two, 6-year-old...
They were literally bouncing on the couch together.
I don't know...
About a bag of chips.
It's like, you ate the... I wrote it down. You ate the chips, didn't you? You ate the chips. You ate the chips. And they start giggling, and I'm like, if they start making out, I'm gonna throw up.
This is what I'm talking about. It felt like they were gonna make out. Another one of those scenes where you think they're gonna start making out. It would be the only thing that they would do. It's so bouncing.
God.
I said intentional lesbian vibe throughout this entire movie, bouncing on the couch together about a bag of chips, which, by the way, Molly probably paid for. She has every intention of eating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Naomi's not doing anything.
No.
She's not, well, she's working at the Cheetah, but yeah.
Oh
so, all right, so then Naomi. So now Molly is a makeup artist at this Golden Nugget, whatever the place is called.
Yes.
And the show is called Goddess, which, I mean.
Why wouldn't it be?
Naomi, sorry.
Oh,
walks in.
We have a friend named Naomi.
We have a good friend Naomi.
I'm going to call her Naomi from now
on.
So
Naomi walks in, and it's almost a little like Chicago, which is a much later film.
Yes.
Where she's doing the jazz hands, which they're not doing on stage.
Nobody does that.
Doing that.
Nobody does that. She's standing there watching.
Blocking people.
Yes, yeah. Of course. She walks right in front. And she's mesmerized by these topless dancers.
Yeah.
And she starts, it's like you said, she's doing these all right, does anybody remember Zoom?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Remember Zoom and you have
the TV
Bernadette?
show, the kids. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. The kids PBS show, Zoom. And there was this little girl, Bernadette, and she did this. Right? I can't show the audience, but the listeners. But it's kind of like a fan where you flip your hands together and your elbows touch and they come back down. Okay, this is what it reminded me of because she's doing this fan thing, jazz hands. So this is supposed to convince us, I think, that she's an excellent dancer, right? With no training at all.
Are you saying you weren't convinced, Christina?
Well, the fact that she anticipated what they would be doing was really just ahead of her time. Crazy, crazy, crazy. No one is going to do that. A dancer is not going to do that. No one is going to be doing that. Watching a show and start doing the moves, mirroring the moves.
So,
it's the dumbest
well, you know who wasn't dancing?
Crystal.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's
the
middle-aged
star of the
lens.
show.
That's a middle-aged lens for me. 100%. I never noticed that way back when. Crystal
she
doesn't
stands
dance.
there.
She stands there, and I'm like, wait a minute. So then you hear the line, and it's amazing. We could have had LaToya. Suzanne. No, you couldn't have. You could not have had LaToya Jackson or Suzanne Summers in that piece of shit show where they just stand there naked in fake lava.
Well, and even later on, they're trying to find replacements, right?
We could have had Paula Abdul.
Paula Abdul.
No, you couldn't have.
Paula Abdul.
No, you
Why,
really
to
couldn't
stand
have. To
topless?
stand there naked, not even singing.
It's
bizarre. It's like but we wanted Crystal. Crystal. All she does is stand there naked. She doesn't even dance.
I don't understand why she was so irreplaceable.
Yeah. 8 years, I never missed a performance.
Well, wow.
What?
How did you stay awake during them? That's not really a lot to brag about, my friend. She just stood the rest of the dancers around her worked really hard.
My God. Well, we should. I mean, really, the list of things, and also, so then, Crystal said something about her nails, right? And then she gets the things that offend Nomi are fascinating.
Listen to me. There are so many conversations about Nomi's nails. Like, I don't understand why they kept going back to the nails. Like, they're fingernails.
Oh my God.
If you have all the time in the world, if you're not working, you can probably do pretty nails too. There were so many conversations between the two of them about her fucking fingernails. I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, well, I don't need my nails done. I'm too old for that whorish look. And of course, Nomi, who basically sells her body every night, is like, fuck you! I'm not a whore!
Nomi
has, oh my God.
She has no chill. No chill.
None.
And the things that offend her are like just bizarre to me, because when you finally see her little number at the cheetah, you're like, wait, she has a moral compass? Like, that to me is bizarre. She is licking poles. She is scissoring women on stage. Yep. She is simulating sex acts completely naked. She is showing her vagina to a room of people. And it's really weird because they talk a lot about money in this movie. And I'm like, well, wait, how little does she make? She's showing everything.
Like inside out, everything.
So here's what's great. She has to show her breast, which I cannot, that is one thing I did not remember. She is naked more than she's clothed in this movie.
Oh, yes,
easily.
Absolutely.
So then the guy, there's a scene where they want her to ice. He's like, what's wrong with your nipples? And
they're not hard enough.
They want her to ice her nipples, and she is completely offended.
So much so. So that whole scene
I jumped
is ridiculous.
a little bit, sorry.
No. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. There's no way I can actually say all the notes that I wrote down. We'll be here for weeks. But she has this audition.
Yeah.
Against professional dancers. Like, this is supposed to be like the big show to be in, right? Mm-hmm. This woman has no training whatsoever, as far as we know, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't have a resume. And all of a sudden, she thinks that she's going to, like, walk on stage and get this job. She's lucky she even had the audition.
Yep.
From what I understand, it's very cutthroat. Mm-hmm. I'm not a dancer.
Well,
but from what I understand, it's very hard to get auditions for a showgirl position.
Well, from what you understand, Christina, you saw the movie. It's very hard. It's very difficult to get these jobs.
So she shows up. She walks across the stage. Now she's like, oh, wait. I need to take my top off. So she walks off the stage. She takes her top off, so she's in her bra.
Yeah.
So obviously she's selling her body. This whole movie, she's selling her body. I don't understand why she is unsure of. Like, I don't understand why she's surprised that people are calling her a whore. She is literally selling her body.
What blows my mind is She's seen the show.
She has
Everyone's
seen the show.
naked. Everyone's naked. Why would she think she wouldn't have to ice up or show her best body?
I don't understand why she's upset that she needs hard nipples. Like, I don't, like, what is the problem with that? Like, was it offensive?
I don't. She was so offended by that.
I
wrote that note.
Clearly this happens all the time, because the second this guy is talking to her, he basically turns his head and his little assistant comes over with a bowl of ice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this happens quite often, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Why would they have a bowl of ice handy?
Yeah.
If that wasn't something... So she refuses, because she is way
too classy
for that.
Yeah.
She cannot put ice on her titties.
Yeah.
Way too... So she storms off after one number.
Yeah.
Forget this, I'm going back to the cheetah.
And the number of times she storms off. She stormed off before
storms off
that.
Everywhere.
She started she slams herself against the top of the car. She's like, I'm sorry, okay? I'm like, Jesus God. I'm like, well, they just call. I mean, like, yeah.
She's a professional storm offer.
Well, because Molly's like, listen, I work here. You can't just tell off. You can't tell off Crystal Connors.
Right.
I mean, she's better than LaToya.
Right? Seriously. She's worked 8 straight years. Standing on stage for 8 straight years. But this woman, she's like oddly offended. Like everything about it, all of these reactions surrounding her and her own reactions are odd.
There's never a moment where you see Elizabeth Berkley's face like realize anything. Like you really don't. It's like it is 0 to 60. To the point where it's like, well, this is a split personality, right? I mean, this is like,
oh my gosh, it would have been so much better to have that sort of realization. Because
she just like, there's no, and I think even as a performance, as an actress for Elizabeth Berkley, like she could have done more with this. She could have like, let's see a little bit of her like, just like thinking something through, but still getting as mad. You know what? Get mad, but like, bring us with you, because otherwise we're just watching a crazy person.
How about this? Instead of, don't call me a whore! Instead of that, how about, don't you ever fucking call me a whore? How about just taking it down a notch? Just a little, like, just a decibel.
Yeah.
Take it down.
Yeah.
Every reaction she had was through the roof. Her hands flailing. I mean, oh my God. Not only is she upset, but it's not even justified. It's an unjustified craziness.
Mm-hmm.
You're a whore. People are calling you a whore. If you don't like that, excuse me.
I got nervous. That's like the sound of like a hurricane's coming.
No, it probably is. It's Hurricane Nomi. No, it's just I thought it was a sensors beeping me.
Yeah, I mean,
it just didn't.
I wrote in the middle of all of these storm outs. I said, how did her co-stars keep a straight face with Elizabeth Berkley?
Truly.
From Gina Gershon to Alan Rachin. Alan Rachin, by the way, I think that's his name, right? From L.A. Law.
Yes.
I mean, L.A. Law. I mean, he's like, why did he step into this mess? I mean, it's just so crazy.
There are a couple of questionable, it must have read so much.
Yeah.
Different, so much more different.
How
am I saying this?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
It had to have.
Yeah.
Because, and then there were, I mean, I will say, okay, it was super duper negative. I did have a couple of positives.
You did?
Well.
Okay, all right.
I mean, they were very small.
Okay,
positives.
let's hear it.
I actually did like the actress who played Molly.
Okay.
I thought that she did a pretty good job with what she had. I liked when she was on screen.
Yeah.
She was actually one of the only people who looked like an actual normal person to me. She actually had a job. She had some responsibility. She kind of called Nomi out on a couple of things.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the bad judgment of asking her to move in with her in the first place, I felt like she was kind of a normal person, like someone that you would actually know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked her. And I also actually liked the character of James. Well, maybe not the character so much, but the actor. I liked him.
James is the black guy, the dancer guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like he's just like sees her dancing. Which the other thing too is, I'm sorry, she's not a good dancer. She's not a good dancer. People friggin' falling all over her because she's a good dancer. She's not a good dancer. Even in this club, okay, this is when she meets James.
Yeah.
She's in the club and she's flailing around. Again, everything is over the top with this person. Everything. She's not just dancing like a normal person. Her arms are flying. Her legs are flying.
Yeah.
Her hips are flying.
Yeah.
Her head is swimming around. Like she made Elaine Bennis look like a great dancer, honestly. She's all over the place. I would have gotten off of the dance floor for fear of getting hurt by one of her limbs if I was on that dance floor. So James is watching her, and he's like a professional choreographer. I couldn't really understand what he was, but he was in the field.
Yeah.
He went to some prestigious school.
Yeah.
He kind of knew what he was talking about. He looks at her and he's like, "Oh, I gotta have her as one of my dancers." Like, I don't understand why. She was not a good dancer.
No, I will say this. She was tall.
Tall.
Great
and
body.
She's ready to take her clothes off.
Great body and very comfortable with her body.
Yes.
And I think maybe they saw well, she has all the energy, but none of the skill.
No, she knows how to do that fan.
What I loved about James, we can talk about James. So he gets like sort of offended on her behalf. He's like, listen, he says to her, you know, you're all tits and ass, and that's what all anyone sees is tits and ass. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you need to really, like, you know, step up. You're too good for that. You're more than tits and ass. Mm-hmm. He then proceeds her to bring her back to his place and rip her top off while they're dancing and immediately shove his hand down her pants. But she stops him to share that she has had...
my
It's almost
God.
like they said... How can we make the scene grosser?
Yep.
Because it's not like first of all, James is totally going back on what he said because he's getting her there. Like, yeah, he wants to dance with her, but he also wants a relationship.
Well,
with
and
her.
I think she initiated a little like more of that.
Oh, she was trying to get him like aroused.
Yeah. So I mean, again, being a whore.
But
he wanted to teach her dance moves. He was trying to teach her dance and he was trying to help her.
Yeah. She got him on the chair, and then she was like sort of gyrating him, and then he put his hands on her. But I do think it's like I don't know, like I mean he's not really building his case. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like he's like, you're more than that. You're you know whatever. You have so much talent.
And then he
goes to the oh
my God.
No, he
didn't.
have sex with her.
Right.
No.
You're right. Then
he puts his hand and she's like, don't.
I have it.
Like,
I have the line because I had
to
just
please,
read it.
Yeah.
I had to just write it. He starts putting his hand down her pants, and she stops him. I have my period. He goes, yeah, right. She says, check.
Oh.
He does.
And
if someone tells me check, I'm going to believe him.
Well,
you know what? I'm not going to call that bluff. That's totally fine. I do not need to check. So he does.
And she does.
She goes, see?
Ugh.
And he says, I have towels.
Oh.
And then she, after meeting him, so she met him for what, a day?
Yep.
She turns around because she has a lot of morals.
Yeah.
Right? After all that. She turns around, walks out, she said, I'll fuck you when you love me. Okay. Good girl. You're not a whore after all.
It's an amazing scene.
And I will say, my other note here, I have so many notes.
Yeah.
I said, right here, you know what? She wants to dance, right? She came to Vegas to dance.
Yeah.
But every time she has an opportunity to dance, she doesn't. This is what happens with her. Mm-hmm. She wants to dance, but every time, with the audition, with learning with James, every time she has that opportunity, she doesn't. She ends up turning it to sex.
She really doesn't she almost forgets her own goal many times.
Yes.
And to your point about this wanting to be a dancer, because it seems like the Goddess show is like her pinnacle. And and like I said, I'm repeating myself a little bit, but it's like, it's almost like she's not really connecting the dots on what it takes to get there.
How do you get there?
Yeah.
Well, you might have to practice.
You might have to be naked.
You might have to put ice on your titties.
Yeah, because all those people...
There are certain things you need to do.
Not only that, but like it is still a theatrical show, you're probably getting makeup all over your body. She'd probably be offended by that too.
Yeah.
Because it's not about dancing. But
I have a note that I just read
that
I just laughed. It says everything she does, every time she moves, it's like she's karate chopping the air.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, we have to talk about, and I didn't write the actress's name down because I wasn't even sure. I should.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so sorry. Just one more thing. With her friend, she gets a so Naomi gets a job.
Yeah.
And they literally start skipping together arm in arm. Did you see this?
Yes.
Again, very childish.
Yeah.
Like the bouncing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand what they're trying to do.
Unless it's like Single White Female, where remember we find out that she was a twin.
Oh, yes.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe her twin sister was named Molly, and that's why she found this.
Molly
she found
and Polly.
this.
Maybe they are separated at birth. Maybe they were twin sisters.
Well, maybe it's like Molly reminds her of Molly, her twin sister. And, in the abusive household where the father killed the mother and then he killed himself or whatever. Or the mother, whatever.
God.
So this is great. So now, there's a lot of horrific performances, a lot of bad acting in this.
Yes.
And I am going to be honest, I actually had to Google it after because the acting was so bad. That, I thought she was a drag queen, but she's actually a woman. The big lady. And
the one that posed as her mom.
Yeah, she's like the hostess of this big show, Mama.
They call her Mama.
And she's like, none of her jokes are funny.
And she has that stupid thing with her dress.
She looks better than a 10-inch dick. And then she does this thing. What do you call that floppy piece? No, what was it?
Oh, that useless piece of skin
around it. Yeah. Oh, woman. And then she talks like weird. I'm like, I don't even know what she just said just now.
Yeah.
Like she said a woman.
Yeah.
Her jokes are so bad. She is a horrific entertainer. She is terrible.
Yeah.
And she won like a Razzie for best worst supporting actress.
Oh,
and I'm like,
funny.
good.
Yeah, that's
good.
She deserved.
She was supposed to be the comic relief.
And she
wasn't.
wasn't.
It was so painful. Her line readings were bizarre. There was no comedic timing. Oh, it was terrible.
No, and she had that stupid dress that flopped down and showed her tits.
And
oh my God.
And I was really confused. I'm like, I don't know, is she a drag queen? Like that would make it like sort of
it
funny.
Would make more sense. I mean,
it's so odd because she's like has like no self-respect.
Why was she even there?
Yeah, it was so weird. It was really weird.
It was very weird.
Not to be outdone by that performance, I found this really remarkable. The secretary in Moss's office. So Moss is the guy that said, "Ice your tits," right?
Yes.
She goes, because, of course, naturally, when you're auditioning someone and they tell you off, throw the ice everywhere, and then storm out, you call them back and give them the
she
job.
was an amazing dancer.
Amazing
so, with such high morals.
The secretary is filing some papers, I guess. There's nothing to be found, but she's filing. And she pauses and looks and she says, I swear, this is the line.
Oh, God.
Hello. What can I do for you? That's how she said it. And she stops filing. And Nomi says, I'm here to see Mr. Moss. I'm Nomi Malone. The secretary leans over. Okay, go on in. And turns her head and goes back to filing. I'm like, what? Where?
A robot?
Robot. Like, it was so... The acting is so... campy, weird, and I don't know where they found these actors.
I don't either. It's again really, really odd.
Hello, what can I do for you? I mean, like come on, Jesus.
Maybe that's why I liked Molly so much because she was the only one that didn't have like this weirdness to her.
Weird way
and
of
James
speaking.
too. James to me felt like a normal person. Oh God, no what?
Oh my God, this is great. All right, so Nomi it's her first thing, her first big night of the show. She can't wait. She is a chorus girl.
Yes.
But she's going to make her mark,
Very
goddammit.
excited, of course. Yes.
But there's that super...
Wait, she had to be a chorus girl before she became a goddess? That's weird.
So then there's this blonde woman that is super helpful.
Yes.
And I kind of liked her.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I did too.
But I swear to God, these are the lines, right? Naomi, wait! Your wig! And Naomi comes down the stairs and she looks at her. She touches her wig, But nothing
Doesn't move it.
changes.
Nothing
Oh,
moves.
thank you so much for saying
nothing
that.
moves.
Nothing moves.
Nope.
Okay, you're fine. I'm like, she was fine
It's
already.
like she
You
needed
didn't
to feel
do
useful
anything.
or something.
Oh my god. But it was so...
Yeah, I kind of liked her. Too.
But if anything, that's going to throw Nomi off her game. Like, Nomi, you're awake. Like, she screamed it. And then she's like, oh, you're fine.
Did she even see her as she walked past even? I questioned whether she was just like trying to fix something that was not even working.
I did laugh at a moment, and it has nothing to do with this movie. I swear to God, this is true. One of the characters, I don't even know who said it, said, I have a problem with pussy. At the same time, Sal, my cat, was laying next to me. And he went, meow. I had to pause the movie because I started laughing so loud. And I mean, like, Jesus Christ, this movie is so bad.
Sounds like, what did you say about
I just had to stop. I'm like, I can't. This movie is so bad, it's upsetting my cat.
Oh my God, I love it so much. I love it so much.
But James kind of ends up sucking, right? I mean, he does suck. I mean, he basically is kind of a stalker.
Here's the thing. I don't know. Again, like, I question his judgment because he does kind of stalk her. He was stalking her before, though. Like,
True. Yeah.
He was just fascinated by those awesome dance moves on the dance floor. Are you talking about when she when he walked into
the back room?
That was before they got together.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's all the period talk is after. Because he just walks in and he starts watching the private dancers. And I'm like, really? Anybody can just watch?
Yeah.
Like, that seems odd.
Go ahead. Sorry, I talked for a lot.
No, that's okay. Because after that, she gets the job, right? Because after the lap dance, she gets the job.
Right, right.
But, oh my God, here's the other thing. She gets a job. She gets that dress that she wears basically for the rest of the movie.
Versace. Sorry.
She tries on a dress. She likes it, and then she does a little tap dance. Did you see that? She does a little tap dance in the middle of, like, I'm like, okay, so you're gonna be tap dancing with it. Then she meets up with James and they're in the car and she's eating like a burger. He's like, oh, let me get you a burger. She's eating, no seatbelt.
Yeah.
Sitting, looking at him in the front seat, eating like I don't even know, like an animal. She's like an animal eating this burger. Yeah. And then
Say it.
Throws the wrapper right out the window.
That is my note on that scene.
It's like, why does anybody like this woman?
She's an awful person.
She's an awful person.
She's littering.
And she's
laughing.
Gross.
She's
gross. Thinks it's hilarious. That's when then the period situation happened.
Yeah.
But then, so I don't blame you. Like, James, yes, he's a little bit weird because of his obsession with her.
I guess, yeah.
But he doesn't, I don't think he really crosses the line with her. Like, he could have.
I think because he moved on so fast.
He moves on fast.
Yeah.
So she comes back to tell him, I think because she got the job. And he opens the door and she's shocked to see somebody else in there. Like, did they have a committed relationship all of a sudden? They had one conversation.
That is the dumbest. That is probably one of the dumbest scenes.
So
and then that's really
dumb.
Saying something.
And
that is the dumbest. I'll say that's the dumbest clothed scene.
Yes. There you go. That's perfect. But then she says, I thought we were working on something for you and I. When did you ever say yes to him? He's been asking and she keeps saying no.
Thank you. And when he tried to teach her the number,
then
she made it sexual. Anyway.
It's so bizarre. So I just wrote, like, what, for 2 seconds? You had, like, it was not even, like, a 10-second number.
Yeah.
And now she's jealous? Or she's upset that he moved on? Like, where is this woman's head?
Well, yeah. I will say, as the story goes on, what I found interesting is that it's like cute of Crystal to wait an hour and 10 minutes into the movie to have a Southern accent.
Right.
Tell me that came out of nowhere.
Oh my God.
That came out of nowhere, right? Like, I'm not imagining that.
Weird.
Like, I was like, wait, she has a Southern accent?
Yeah.
And I think that may have been after the tits dialogue. So they're in Caesar's palace, and she's talking to Nomi. They're having lunch together, and Nomi's like, I don't know what any of this stuff is. I'm like, it's food. Like, I mean, and just ask your waiter. Just read the description. Come on. Really? Caesar's, give me a break.
Yeah.
So then Crystal's going to be super helpful. But then Crystal starts complimenting her tits, and there is a scene, just goes on and on about tits.
Yes. Which
We have to share this.
Yes, I think we should. We found the script, friends. Hold on to your seats. We found the script to Showgirls.
Yeah.
Brian and I, as an added bonus
on Patreon
for Patreon listeners,
yeah.
we are going to reenact audio only.
Just audio.
We're going to reenact that scene in the restaurant.
A dramatic
dramatic reading
of the Caesar's Palace tits scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
get ready for that.
Look forward to that. Sign on oldroommates.com, patreon.com/oldroommates.
Yes.
To check that out. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's well worth the $2.
I think you'll appreciate how well written Showgirls is after that.
And it's $2 per month. It's not just for this one audio thing.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you guys know how.
There's
lots of free stuff. There's a lot of free stuff
on
Patreon. Just check it out. Patreon.com/oldroommates. Check it out. If you don't want to pay money, you don't have to. There's still plenty up there that's free to everybody. Anyway, so so they have this scene, and yes, all of a sudden she gets this southern accent. I like Gina as an actress typically.
Yeah, I usually like her.
I usually like her. This movie, I don't know what she was thinking signing on to this movie. I feel like the direction that she had was be smug throughout the whole entire movie. Like she never wavers from that.
Yeah.
Be smug.
Yeah.
And that's every single bit of dialogue is her.
Unless when she's drooling over Nomi.
But even when she's drooling over her, which I don't understand.
Well, also
she's so gross.
She's been in this business a long time, and Nomi's the one that's going to break her.
She's
really?
The one. Yeah.
Give me a break. So, jumping from that scene to this other beautiful moment of dialogue. So it ends up being a lie, right? So Kyle MacLachlan plays Zach, right, and he's defending Nomi because Nomi's completely shocked that she would have to go and attend a party with this guy that's going to give her $1,000 with this Asian investor.
Everyone is warning her. Everyone. They didn't like it. They didn't like it.
Yeah. She's completely shocked. Can't believe it.
What? Someone thinks I'm a whore?
I just thought when I came to Las Vegas, things would be more classy and sophisticated.
I thought you would give me $1,000 just to stand
here and sign my autograph. Here's the thing. So get this. So Zach's defending her, and this line is like, just beautiful. I might use this in real life sometime.
Okay.
The guy says, "Hey, she's jumping to conclusions," and Zach says, "Yeah, and if it happens again, you'll jump to your conclusion." I think I had to pause it because I started laughing so hard.
Oh my god! Someone wrote that line and said, "Wow, that's amazing."
You'll jump to your conclusion.
The only thing missing from Zach, is a little mustache.
Okay.
Where he could twirl.
I think you said like a pinky ring that he could twirl.
Oh, and that too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you could have the pinky ring and twirl his little mustache. Throughout the whole performance, the whole movie, he's like, I'll get you. Oh, come on over here. I'll get you a job.
I mean, at least he helped her by telling her how to pronounce Versace. Jesus Christ. But, okay, now, the big moment.
Yes.
The showgirls is sabotaged with beads.
Yes.
The beads are thrown on the floor, which there's so much going on, but Naomi totally catches it.
She's so observant.
But she didn't do anything about it.
She didn't do a damn
She didn't say,
thing.
Be careful. She didn't jump off.
Because she's a professional.
She's such a professional.
Yeah, she's a professional dancer.
She's spinning around. This guy's carrying her. She's spinning around, but she totally sees this all happen. And this is great. And it has nothing to do with Nomi. So, the guy slips and falls. Now, I want to be very clear about this fall.
Yes.
If you watch closely, and this is what we do here at Old Roommates, we do the research for you.
Yes.
The dancer falls on her back and cracks her head off the floor.
Yes.
So naturally, she has hurt her knee.
Of course. Yeah.
Because she landed on her back and her head. Her knee was completely fine. But we're not quite sure it's her knee because she's grabbing her knee and screaming.
Right.
So now the blonde helper woman that helped Naomi with her wig that didn't need help, she walks over. She instantly grabs the woman's knee that she's already grabbing, grabs her knee, she twists it, the woman screams, and she goes, it's her knee.
She's brilliant. She is brilliant.
I don't even know what her job is.
That's why she gets, well, it's clearly just to touch people.
Touch people and fix things that don't need fixing, or
aren't...
hurt things that are already hurt. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I said, the pool scene, which I already said. It's the one thing we didn't mention about that sex in the pool thing. I didn't time it. I almost did, but I didn't. I should have done my due diligence. Mm-hmm. I would venture to say it's 18 seconds.
I would say, yeah,
maybe not more than 30 seconds, right?
That seems about right.
So we're watching, basically we're saying that Kyle MacLachlan or Zach is so hot and sexual, hypersexual, as is Naomi. They're really great at sex. And they know exactly what to do. They had sex for 18 seconds and
remember, she went under the water to give him a blowjob first. Right,
yeah.
So no, which people really love that.
Wait a minute. She didn't. Remember, she swam under his legs.
Oh, right.
She didn't even do it.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
But I guess when you're really good at sex, you don't need that much time.
No, of course not. No. Bum, bam, wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh my God.
I just said, we talked about it already. It's a waste of champagne. Did you so he brings out the champagne. They're already soaking wet.
Yeah.
He brings out the champagne and then pours it over her.
Yeah.
Like why?
Well, he can lick it off of her.
But it's in the pool. Like you're getting
and
probably
also
more
chlorine
than champagne.
Yeah, gross.
So that's a big waste. And I just said sex does not look fun or comfortable. None of it. Just no thank you. Did not look sexy. Did not look any it looked like she was having some sort of seizure of some sort.
And I just want to point this out because I know we have some people that are not middle-aged that listen to this podcast.
Yes.
I think it's important to say that if you are ever trying to convince someone you're not a whore, the best way is to jump on top of them in a swimming pool and give them 18 seconds of the twerkiest, weirdest dolphin sex you ever could in 18 seconds flat.
And make sure you're wearing a little dress without any undergarments.
And just take it off as soon as you walk into the house.
As soon as you walk in the house.
Yeah.
Just walk in the house, walk to the pool, and just let it drop.
Yeah.
Look back and then dive in the pool and then have sex. And that way they will not think you're a whore.
Yeah.
Good advice, Brian.
Christina, my next note kind of jumps, so I want to pause because I want to make sure you're caught up with your notes because my next note is about Crystal being pushed down the stairs.
All right. Well, I do. Let's see. I think I don't know. There's so much here that I just can't even probably get into. But there is after the pool scene, she does bump back into James.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I liked his character, although there's one line. He's with the new girl. I think Hope was her name, I think. Or that was her stage name, I think. Hope. He's with her now.
Yeah.
And they bump into each other or whatever. And he turns to her and said, Get me a bear, bitch.
Oh, my God.
How charming, right?
Yep.
How charming.
And he's the good guy.
Yeah. And then he says that he's getting married.
Yeah.
Because...
She's pregnant.
Yeah. So many things wrong. Like, why would he marry her if she's pregnant? Like, that doesn't seem...
Why? Not only that, why would she want a baby?
Why is she going to have... Where's she going to have the baby?
She works with the cheetah. She going to be...
It doesn't make any sense.
She dances the cheetah, for God's sake.
Yeah. None of it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Naomi... It's like they have this moment. I'm Nomi. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Nomi has, they have this, little moment, love lost. I'm happy for you. I wrote down, have they even had 3 conversations?
Oh, my God, no.
And they're talking as if they were madly in love and it just didn't work out. Like, you've known each other for 5 minutes. And you didn't even, you fought the whole 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh, she didn't
it's
even.
Weird.
She really didn't even like him. She's the worst character ever.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's the thing too. I'm glad he moved on from her.
That was great. I appreciated that.
That was the only realistic relationship in that whole entire movie.
Yeah.
Like him. Okay, you know what? I've had it with her. I'm done. Moving on. Like he stalked her for a little bit at the beginning, but then it was just like, okay, I'm all done. Totally realistic.
Okay, so now.
All right.
And,
I have one more thing, and then we can move on. I just said, I don't know, is it me?
Okay.
Or is she dancing the same exact routine throughout the entire movie, regardless of the venue, regardless of the show? She does the same exact moves. She bends at the waist.
Yeah.
She does the little fan out. She does the part.
Yeah.
Every single place she's at,
Yeah.
whether it's the cheetah, whether it's in James's apartment or on the Showgirls stage or whatever. Every single thing she does is the same routine. I feel like they were like, Elizabeth, this is the routine.
Learn it.
This is what you need to, this is the routine you're doing.
What I found interesting is that when she became goddess, I'm jumping around, but I'm being dead honest. I'm not being like mean. I'm not being like, oh, stop.
Right.
The second she left the cracked rock volcano, I couldn't place her in that crowd.
No.
Because she looks like all the others.
Well, that's what killed me
I'm
about
like,
that
wait,
whole role.
she's not even sticking out. Like
it's so weird. Like, first of all, like we talked about it before, like the crystal, the performance is nothing. She doesn't dance. In fact, I would say when Nomi got it, at least she did a little dancing. She actually did some dancing, which made her blend in with everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when she, I don't understand why that role was so pivotal. That could have been replaced by a puppet.
No shit. Well, how? It could have been. They should have said, we could have had LaToya. We could have had Miss Piggy. But also, how about the fucked up? How about the thing with the motorcycle that is so fake riding across the bridge?
It was just that was so strange to me. She didn't do anything at all, and she blended in. Everybody was wearing the same costume. Everybody was wearing the same wig. She didn't even have a different wig on.
That was what flew me. When she replaced Crystal, the second she stepped away, I was like, I truly don't know where she is right now.
Yeah, where'd she go?
Yeah.
It's so weird. The whole concept.
So, of course, in order to replace Crystal, she had to ice Crystal out, which I think a smart way to do that is to push her down a flight of stairs in front of 40 people.
And it was so obvious. I mean, she could have at least tripped her.
But
right?
I know.
Christina,
I remember
2 full hands. Boom.
This is actually how anyone is smarter than this movie, because I misremembered. If you had said, how did Crystal fall down the stairs, I would have said, oh, she tripped her.
Yes.
Because it's so stupid.
It makes more sense.
Way more sense. Or just use the beads again. It already happened once. It can happen again. Mm-hmm. Also, and this is my issue with these accidents.
Honestly, that would have made more sense.
Much more sense. Because it happened once
again. Because it could happen again.
Oh, no, it happened again. And not only that.
Somebody's costume is falling apart.
Not only that. Be careful of the stairs. Everyone keeps saying that. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Be careful of the stairs, because you remember that scene. And get this. What I found so weird is that when someone injures themselves, they suddenly can't speak, right? Like, the girl that hurts her knee, she knew what happened.
Right.
She saw what happened. She saw, she's like, oh, and the guy could have said, I slipped on the beads. Instead, a stagehand walks through and was like, these are the culprit. It's like, wouldn't the dancer would have known?
Yeah, the dancer would have known.
And Crystal wasn't knocked unconscious. She's like, ow, ow, ow. I would have been like, Nomi pushed me.
It's not like she got knocked out. It's so
But in the hospital, she says she knew, but then she said, and I also knew why, and she she's like, and I did something similar.
All of a sudden, she's like, it's okay.
It's okay, yeah. It's okay. You could have fucking killed me. I don't know how okay that is. She's lucky she rolled how she rolled.
Yeah.
She's like, I needed a break from all this.
Oh my God. So, interesting. I was just looking up, the cast.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of surprises. So, Pamela Anderson, she was up for that role.
Yeah.
She was actually in it as a party singer. That's what she's cast as. She was cast as a party singer.
What?
Pamela Anderson.
Isn't this after Baywatch, or is this before? This is in the midst of Baywatch, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, you know who else?
1995. When was Baywatch?
Probably 80s into 90s. Right? Late 80s?
Yeah, I think so. So she was a party singer, but never, she didn't even have a name. And who are you going to say? Because there's somebody else that's in it that I was surprised.
Carrie Ananaba.
That's what I was going to say. Carrie.
She's in the show. She's in Goddess,
Goddess
which means.
dancer.
But I couldn't. I knew this, and I couldn't find her.
Yeah, I couldn't find her either. I didn't know it at a time.
She probably. I mean, I don't know. She's probably lucky she can't be found in it.
Right. Oh.
But so let's get into it. And this awful scene. But that's the other sighting. Do you remember one of the Are they gang rapers?
No.
He was from Days of Our Lives. Remember Mr. King? Remember Mr. King
What?
in like the 90s? And there's the Michael Bolton character.
Yes. Oh my God.
There's the white guy and the black guy.
Yes.
The white guy was on Days.
Oh my God.
The shirtless one.
I can't believe it. I don't remember that at all.
And
That's
his hair was super short in Days of Our Lives. But he's been in like a ton of things, and he's also, I think he's a director and all this. He has a really good, I mean, I hate to say that, but he does have a good body because he was a football player. No, let me just finish though. And I remembered him from Days and being like,
That's so funny.
I remember him being like pretty hot on Days of Our Lives.
That is pretty wild.
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize. Usually I'm pretty good at recognizing actors.
We need to discuss this because...
This was really, really brutal.
Do you know how long that scene took to film? You don't even want to know. 9 hours. This poor woman. She had... the actress that you like... She said she had real, like, physical issues when she was done. She's like, because she's like, you know what's going on, but your body doesn't. She said she had real, like, physical issues after filming that scene for a bit. That
was horrible. I'm glad I didn't see it the first time. I don't know if I would have agreed to watch it again. That would have been a scene that stayed with me, I think. It was
so
really,
disturbing.
Really, really
also,
horrible.
He
punches her.
It's
in
like,
the
listen,
face.
I've heard of fetishes in my life, but you're punching someone in the nose. You're breaking your nose.
Yes.
And then, because it says that, right? She had a broken nose, vaginal tears, and she'll be in the hospital for 3 to 4 days. So 3 to 4 days. So he punches her, but like it's so odd because she likes him. He brings her to the room. She thinks it's just gonna be the two of them. Then he's like, "Here are my two friends. We're all gonna have fun together." And she's like, "No, I'm out of here." And then they grab her. He punches her in the face, and they proceed to rape her. But Christina, like I've seen this, so that means I've seen this scene 3 times now, and I never noticed. It's really not funny. I'm sorry, but he is like she is bleeding all over her face, and he's like leaning, and he's like la 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 la. Yeah, he's like moving, licking her face.
It was really, oh my God, it was awful.
Like if you're, and I'm sorry to say Michael Bolton, but clearly that's what this guy is. This is what he's modeled after. I just feel like if that was like a kink of his, like I don't know if anyone could sustain that. I mean, if it involves gang raping, because clearly that's his thing. I just can't imagine his success rate with this approach. Like, really, someone that big, that famous? I mean, and I'm sure it happens. I don't know if it happens that graphically.
Well, I think because then she stumbles out of the room.
She's hospitalized.
It's in the middle of a big party. Like, there's plenty of people around. So it's not just the people who are in the know, right? There's got to be other people around. Spouses and stuff like that see this woman stumble out of this room clearly beaten.
But not only that, Christina, she doesn't... I'm being way too technical, but he's probably in the penthouse suite. He's a big star.
Yes.
That means she took the elevator all the way down back into the party? I think I would have just stopped at the lobby and said, "Can you please call an ambulance? I'm bleeding out of 3 holes in my body."
God.
Oh yeah, she had blood streaming down her legs. I mean,
that was a lot. Really,
that was a lot. And I will say that Paul Verhoeven regrets that whole thing. Yeah. He's like, that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake. And I don't know when you have a movie like Showgirls, I mean, like, really? And I'm really trying, and I didn't Google the why on this, but I was like, is it because Nomi and Molly had dreams? Like, remember, Molly was talking a lot about this guy. Yes. Like, oh my God, my dream. It's the fantasy, and it's this dream. And like, is it to show that that your dream can come true, but be like a nightmare? Nomi had this dream, but at every turn it was like, no, you have to do stuff for it, sweetie. Yeah, like, you have to work for it. I don't know. I'm giving this movie maybe way too much credit, but it's like I just wondered if that was the lesson the audience was supposed to get from this.
Yeah, it was.
But that's quite the fucking lesson.
Clear. And I also wonder, like, that scene. Now, you know, you're saying, like, in Brooklyn they had, like, this kind of showing of it, this campiness and the hilarity of it. Yeah. Like, what do they do when they get to that scene? Like, I can't imagine people are laughing at that.
No, I know.
They had to have, like, cut it out or something.
No, it was in there. I remember that was in there. I was in there.
So that's when everybody goes to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Like,
I will say they did laugh when Nomi was like, oh my God, and she falls on the floor. They did laugh at that. And I think it was because, though, and I noticed this more this time around, like, there's a ton of people at that party, and only Nomi sees her across the room.
One.
Yeah, of course. Although, other than the people that see her and, like, step away from her, it's like she's, like, trying to reach out for help, and they just, like, walk away and let her fall on the floor. Like, she's not, like, she doesn't look homeless. She's, like, dressed, like, she's in a nice dress. She's clearly been attacked. Help this girl.
Yeah, it's very strange. But the whole thing, like, even at the end, like, her realization that she needs to leave because of this brutal attack on her friend. I feel like even leading up to that, they were trying to hint that she was going down the wrong path. She started doing cocaine. And but it was like one scene of her doing a little bit of cocaine. And all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to this party. And it just seemed all very, very fast. Like, I feel like they could have slowed that part down, like into her demise a little bit more.
Yeah.
But she had one conversation with Molly.
Christina, I would argue that... Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
I would argue that wasn't really why she left. They argue that she was exposed.
That's true.
As who she really was. And she was like, well...
And she didn't want to get blackmailed or whatever.
Yep, I'm out of here. And also, I think she realized, like, to your earlier point, like, I think she was like, wait a minute, this is how this works here? Like, I mean, it's like, really? You can't be that surprised. At every turn, every man in your life has been awful to you.
Yes.
In this show business, crazy show business world.
Yeah, it just seems very odd. The whole thing did not tie up enough at all, really.
And then it became like...
Even her leaving and her becoming the goddess, like, did not make any sense to begin with. I mean, she's new there. There are dancers that have been there forever.
Yeah.
And they're choosing Nomi?
Yeah. We're proud to present
God.
Nomi.
Well, hope you don't care that she doesn't have firm tits.
Or a social security number.
Number.
How's that paycheck happening?
Right.
You know what really pissed me off? Because I'm playing by the rules of this movie.
Yes.
How about when she becomes goddess? I think that's when this happens. And then that woman... Big Mama and that guy with the black hair show up, and they're actually proud of her, and everything seems kind of friendly.
Yeah.
And then he says a line that is such a line of, and I'll let you say it in a second, but it's such a line of bullshit because we know the rules of Cheetah. Mm-hmm. We know the rules. So his line is what, Christina?
Must be weird not having anybody come on you.
We know the rules of the Cheetah.
Mm-hmm.
They are not allowed to come on you. So he's just being a dick. It's gross. It's a gross statement. It's gross in the script. So we know the rules of the Cheetah. And not only that, we know Nomi. She never would have allowed that. So he's full of shit. This movie's full of shit. And the Cheetah has rules. And this guy runs the Cheetah.
And it was weird that they didn't even come visit. Like, what was the purpose of that scene? What was the purpose of them coming to see her? So that she has family?
I know. I don't.
Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
Again.
Because I mean, I don't even know. It's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't really rub it in his face. Like, there's no real revenge moment. It's not like, look at me now.
No.
I mean, it's honestly, it's like...
They came to see it. It was like a little reunion.
Yeah. And I believe it or not, I only have a couple more notes in it, but I do have a match game. But let me see. Oh, this is funny.
Okay.
So there's the guy. It's Zach's sort of henchman guy, right? The one who set up the car dealership show, the boat show. Sorry,
the boat show.
So this is the line. These are the lines. You can't even make this shit up. He has a folder, and he's showing Zach, and he goes, "Look at this," and he's pointing in the folder, and then he goes, "Listen, I swear to God," he goes, "Now, look at this." Again, I paused it to laugh and write down the line.
Oh, jeez.
What he's showing is like Nomi's true identity.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Now, look at this.
Now, look at this. And Zach's like, wow.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
It does
and
become.
She again screams, I'm not a whore. Okay, what? Yeah, you are. And now we know for sure you are.
Yeah.
Because you were a prostitute for years.
Yeah. Soliciting. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then it becomes an action movie. And she looks in the mirror and actually says the words, "Showtime." And she kicks and fights this guy.
So why wouldn't she just kill him? I think she should have just killed him.
I agree.
As long as she doesn't have it in her.
Also, she's really beating him up, and it's kind of loud. And his henchmen,
guys are just hanging.
His henchmen are like playing cards.
Well, maybe he just assumes that he's beating her up.
Oh, well, they didn't join in. Where were they? They should have jumped in. I mean,
that scene was so stupid. Why didn't they come in? First of all,
Christina. Not only that, to your earlier point, she kind of fights like how she dances.
Yeah.
It's all the same moves. It's all the same moves. Karate chops.
He's this huge guy. He can't fight her off.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, it's so dumb. She steps on him a couple times. She should have just stabbed him. And the whole thing is like, what point did it make? Like, do you think he's going to change his ways now? Do you feel better now that you beat him up after he brutally raped and changed the life of your best friend?
Yeah, all she did was beat him up.
And she smacked him and stepped on him a couple times. Like, all right, I got him.
Well, all he's gonna do.
Her, I mean, if she stabbed him, like literally stabbed him, and then walked out and said, "Okay, it's not like," and then she left, right? Then she left
skips town, changes her name again.
It makes more sense.
1000%, and that would have actually made the movie the dark movie that a lot of these people thought they were signing up for. Yeah,
definitely. And then she could have whispered into her friend's ear, "I took care of it for you."
Yeah, all she was beat him up, and also, and quite frankly, I would imagine that's only going to make him hate women even more. Yeah. So, any other notes before we get to our questions?
Let's see. Oh, God. So, just a couple of things.
Yeah, please.
The kiss between Crystal and Nomi was so gross. I was like, really? It was really gross.
Yeah.
I'm not... Yeah, whatever. That's all I have. It just did not...
Well, I think it was gross because it was in a hospital bed.
It was in a hospital, and it was like such a close-up of their lips.
Yeah, I think they were wanting drool. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I think that's they wanted to.
Yeah.
And then the pickup truck guy, the same pickup guy.
What are the chances?
Like, oh my God.
What a coincidence.
Enough. And then I really feel like this... Take the prize for the worst last line of any movie and ever.
Okay.
He says, "You gambled," and she said, "Yeah." What did you win?
Say it, Christina.
Me. Come on, people. Come on. Why?
They weren't even trying.
They were not even trying. I just said this movie just keeps on giving.
Oh my God.
So yeah, and that is the end of my notes.
Oh man.
It was really something.
I feel like I just watched it all over again.
Really something. I feel like it took us that long to do this episode.
I'm afraid to even look how long this episode is.
But you know what though? Well worth it. Super entertaining episode here.
Well, but I have to ask before we can get to our questions. More, less, about the same.
Oh my God. That's a really, really, really hard answer because remember, it was so bad last time I shut it off.
Oh, true.
And didn't come back
to
it.
more.
So, but I mean, God.
But you had to watch it.
It was like forced. If I didn't watch it for this, I don't even know if I would have made it to that point. Honestly.
Yeah.
I almost want to say less.
Wow. I think I have to say more because I couldn't stop talking about it the next day. Like when I saw it the first time,
I was almost
like it was like shame. It was like shame. It was like this movie's so bad I can't even talk about it. Now it's like I was telling Carl about it. I was like, "Hun, Showgirls." And at one point, Carl said to me, "He's like, I think it sounds like you want to watch it again." I'm like, no, I don't."
Nope.
But I have a match game.
Okay, great. I have an FMK. I couldn't even think anymore about this movie. I gotta just do an FMK.
Well, Christina, ready for my match game?
I am ready for your match game, yep.
We're finding out more about Nomi's childhood, or rather, Polly's childhood. seems her parents were concerned, even when she was a little girl, about her behavior.
Oh, boy.
And her potential future and career. Because when they brought her to the zoo, she kept blanking the animal cage bars.
Oh, I have two potentials.
So you see, when Nomi/Polly was a little girl, her parents sensed her future career because she kept blanking the animal cage bars at the zoo.
All right, ding.
Ding. Christina, she kept blanking the bars as a child.
She kept licking the bars.
Licking! Yay!
Good job. I had a feeling. It was either that or humping, but...
Oh, my God.
All right, so I have an FMK.
Let's hear it.
All right, so my 3 choices for you.
Yeah.
Zach.
Okay.
Played by Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah.
Tony. So Tony Moss. He's the Alan
Alan Rachin. Yeah.
Rachin.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know the character's name, but the manager of the cheetah.
Oh, God, yeah. Okay.
The manager of the cheetah. So FMK.
This is actually pretty tough.
It is pretty tough.
All right.
I'm changing.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I have it.
Okay.
Okay, ding. All right, so mine are. Should I start with kill? How should I start?
It doesn't matter.
Killing cheetah manager.
Okay.
Marrying Tony Moss.
Oh, okay.
Because you know why? For what he had to do, he was pretty professional.
He was, yeah.
And then I'm effing Zach.
Okay.
As one should.
Originally had that for you.
Oh, okay.
I originally had that for you. But then I remembered the pool scene.
Yeah.
And how awful he was. He lasted 10 seconds. He didn't move. And I'm like, I don't know if that's somebody you want to F.
Yeah.
Really. So I changed it around the last minute.
Okay.
So I had you marrying Tony, because I think that's the only choice. And then effing the cheetah guy. And killing Zach.
Yeah. At least Zach seemed like he cared about his body a little bit more than the other guy. And,
yeah, that's true.
And also, like,
he probably has a lot more experience.
Well, I don't know, because the cheetah guy made the girls blow him.
Right, but that's not different than having sex.
That's true.
It's different. Again, lazy.
What would you have said?
I would have done what I said. I would have married Tony, effed the cheetah guy.
Okay.
And killed Zach. I just didn't like Zach. I don't know. He was dirty and gross and I don't know.
Wow. Well, Christina.
Oh.
That was Showgirls. And please turn into Patreon for our dramatic reading.
Oh, yes.
Of a scene from Showgirls.
Yes.
And that's it for us in this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And please give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you're interested in more Old Roommates, including special episodes, bonus content, movie recommendations, and more, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com. That's patreon.com/oldroommates. Comments and ideas can be emailed to us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Old Roommates.
Thanks again for listening. This is Christina.
And this is Brian. Until next time.